because it is really scary when you get on that meeting and 6 o'clock comes and there's like one person. It's really scary and sad. So if you have anyone in your life that wants to talk about or think about school here, have them come. Everyone says the presentation is really helpful and they are always really glad they came. Okay, this next is a big one. May 21st, that's a big day at Inno. First, we want seniors to be done with all their credits by May 21st. That is a big deal. Also that night is prom. We're holding prom at Highland. A really good parent in the past leadership capability helped me to see that really a prom at Highland would be better than no prom, because a lot of other places we couldn't get to go. So anyway, so prom that night, no COVID testing is required anymore. Big thumbs up for me. Single events at schools do not require COVID testing anymore. Like sports, they're still going to do the once a month testing, some other things that are ongoing. So I'm happy about that. So if your kids are going to prom, you do not have to drag them all over the valley to find a test, okay? May 27th, next week, we're going to do senior award night at Sugar House Park. And we have a place reserved, and we're not going to have food, but it is going to be a nice celebration for families who want to come. Food makes everything harder with COVID. It just wasn't worth it to try to do it. So, but it'll be fun. And our committee here is doing a lot of really good work. We're really excited. Then on June 1st, we're having graduation rehearsal at Highland at 3 p.m. Seniors need to come. Like I had a parent on the phone. Well, do they have to come? Yes, they have to come. It's kind of a big deal. Plus, we've never done this at Highland before, but it is bigger, so that's good. But they don't know how the whole place works, and neither do we. We're really going to need everyone to be there. So if you know a senior that is not your senior, let them know. Yes, you go to Highland at 3 o'clock that day. And then we'll have graduation 2 days later on the 3rd. We are figuring out how to live stream it, but there have been some real difficulties with getting it set up. And I know people know how to do it, but I don't. So it's hard for me to ask the right questions. But we are working on that. I sent an email today to the person who I think is going to help us. The next day, yay, Tabitha's in the waiting room. The next day, we're going to do a field day back in the field at Whittier Elementary. We're going to set up some pop-up shade tents. Coach Presh is going to set up some activities like PE kind of things, like badminton. We're going to borrow badminton nets from West. It's going to be really fun. And students will get their yearbooks and they can sit around and sign them or whatever. So it'll be fun. And then last day of school is on there, and then June 7th for summer school. If all of your kids that aren't graduating signed up for summer school for June 7th, give me a thumbs up. Okay, excellent. Yes, Joey's happy to see that. It is going to be a really good experience. We're really excited for it. Joey's like, sure you are. But no, kids are excited, parents are excited, we're all excited. And that leads us to Mr. Joey Ellis, who can give us an SIC update really quick.
Yeah, I just want to state too, for summer school, we have 87 students currently signed up for summer school. Typically in the past, most of our summer school students have come from incoming freshmen, which is not the case necessarily this year so far, as we're still getting freshmen in. So it's a really great turnout for our incoming or our returning students for summer school right now. So it's looking pretty good. As far as SIC is concerned, I was looking at the minutes from our last couple of meetings since we last talked. It has mainly just been we've been talking about recruiting of students to help with our numbers for next year, as well as talking about graduation and how we can support our seniors, summer school, like we just talked about, and our master's schedule for next year. So what classes are taking place during what periods and those types of things. I think that's about it. So yeah, I think that's all we've been mainly just trying to get kids focused on the rest of this year and talking about how we can better support them now that we have them in the building. There's our update for SIC.
Yeah, seniors. We've been kind of panicking about seniors. We do that every year though, so I'm thinking everything's going to work out. Because this is a really short agenda and I have a PowerPoint next, I want to give all of you a chance to talk really quickly and tell me anything, how your students doing, how you're feeling, if things are feeling more normal or less normal to you, thinking about next year. I don't want to put anyone on the spot, but I really think part of the point of us being together in the Zoom meeting is to hear each other speak, not just me. So I'm going to start with Cindy because her dog has been attacking her. So I want her to go first. And then I'll just call on you guys in the order that you're on my screen. Is that okay? It's okay. You can pass if you really want to, but I really want to hear from you. Okay, Cindy.
Well, I think everything's kind of going pretty smoothly. Jacob's been back to school since after spring break. But I think things are feeling a little normal for him. I think he's glad to be back for sure because he was ready. And I'm looking forward to him going to summer school. He's opted to go all 4 weeks in person, so we'll see how that goes.
Yay.
But getting up early in the summertime, so yeah, I think everything's been going really well.
Okay,
So,
thank you for the input. Okay, now your dog can come back.
Yeah.
Tabitha, you're next on my screen. Welcome. Thanks for coming.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
No, I'm thrilled to be here. Chris Zephyr is doing really well. He has really benefited this year from the kind of relaxed schedule where he can take time out when he needs it and work like a dog when he's on it. Because when he's on it, he's like, yeah, I just want to pump through it and keep going. And then he has these things where I need some space to kind of pull my head together. And so for him, this has been just a wonderful experience, without having to worry about hitting the mark on every single day of a schedule. That's been really, really helpful to him. He doesn't want to go to summer school, which I'm kind of surprised, but he's so looking forward to going in person this fall. And the dichotomy of those two things, I'm not quite understanding. Because he's so eager to go back to school and like get the high school experience that he missed as a freshman this year. But so he's like, I just don't want to do summer school. So there we are.
Maybe Joey will give him an email or give him a call and see like if there's anything that maybe we can anticipate that would help him. So thank you for telling us that. Selena, thanks for coming. I always want your chair when I see your chair.
It actually really needs to be reupholstered. Like the support in the back and the bottom of the seat is so bad, but it looks pretty.
It does.
Delilah has done well with returning back to school. I think she didn't realize that if she attends some classes, they do assignments in class, which has been a nice realization for her, especially in science. She is doing the second session of summer school. That was our compromise. So other mom who didn't get your kids signed up, maybe half is a good compromise. I do have a question whether masks will be required in summer school because it is after that June, whatever date that the state gave.
We are following the state and the county guidelines and they change all the time. Right now, even though some of the other mask mandates have been lifted, public schools have not.
Yeah, public schools are till July 1st.
Oh, July 1st. Okay, I thought
Yeah.
it was June something. So then that will still be in.
Yeah, mask
Okay.
mandate will still be through summer school.
Great.
Unless there's some change and you just never know.
Yeah.
So,
And then the other thing, Delilah is not making friends, even though she's returned to school. I'm not sure if it's like distancing or just she's not. That's a concern as she's returned to school. Like she doesn't want to go to prom. She doesn't know anybody like that. social thing that we've kind of missed out on this year.
Yep.
Hopefully it will get better.
Yeah. Well, and we can keep an eye. I mean, that's part of the thing is if we hear from you, then we know kind of what we're not hearing. And there are group tickets for prom where a bunch of kids can just buy a ticket and it's cheap. And they're not really in couples, they just all go together. So there isn't, that takes a little bit of the pressure off of having your own date, you know?
Yeah.
So, but she may not know that, so please let her know.
Yeah. I
And
talked
then-
about it. She still said no,
Okay.
but,
Okay.
but yeah, I think just kind of missing that
Yep.
friend experience with being online and then now returning. I was hoping it would get a little better, but
Yep.
hasn't seemed to.
I hear you. Well,
So.
and we're kind of new into the getting back to normal. So hopefully I'm going to still hope that things will pick up and be more normal for a lot of students. So thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Back to you, Bonnie. You have something to say about other than you've already said?
Well, I would just, so my son is a junior and he has done 3 classes at the U this year. All of them have been online. And my kids have had absolutely zero interest in going back to school in person. They love online life. And so it's kind of hard for me because I'm like, wait, you're missing all the social things like you were just talking about, Selena. So I do have some concerns there, but my daughter, my youngest, is an incoming freshman and she is going to do summer school, both sessions, and kind of ease her way into high school and the new building, everything. I think it'll be a really good experience for her. I told her she had to go in person and
Yeah.
she kind of threw a fit, but she knows I'm laying down the law. I'm being the mom. So anyway, we're excited for it. We're excited to kind of get back to some little bit of normalcy.
Good. Yeah, I think that's the best thing for new freshmen. It's smaller. They get to know other freshmen and they have a little cohort, that then they can travel with next year. It'll be good.
Joey, do you know how many freshmen are signed up right now? You said it was kind of a
I
lot
wanna-
of the.
Yeah, I want to say right now we have about 13 freshmen signed up for
Okay.
summer school.
Okay.
And it's kind of funky. There's like 6 or 7 that are doing all 4 weeks. And then there's like 3 at the beginning and like 4 at doing the second session. So right now, how it's listed is all the 9th graders are going to be in the same group. So there's kind of just a set path, just because we can't really split them up with teachers with that small of a group right now. So
Right. Okay. That's good to know.
Yes,
Tabitha.
Tabitha.
How many sophomores? Maybe I can talk him into it.
there's a lot of sophomores actually. So I want to say all the other grades, there's at least 25 or more in each of the other grades.
That's good.
One of the components in summer school that we're really pushing is that social component. So all the teachers are going to be having in the day, so each of the 2 class periods that they'll have, and probably that 3rd one as well, a minute just to take away from the academics and get to know the other people in that class. So we do know that there is a social component that's been lacking this year. And so this summer, that's one of definitely an emphasis that we want to try and bridge. So
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, in the bottom of my screen, Zan B phone. You wanna tell me your name again?
This is Shive, Zan's mom. Yeah, my phone died, and so I had to hurry and grab his phone and hop on the Zoom meeting.
Perfect.
But yeah, so school's going. I mean, everything's going really good. I feel like we've seen a lot of improvement over the last little while. Really super sucky thing though is he broke his clavicle day before yesterday. So it's it's
Ow.
been yeah. So for Mother's Day we had this big plan. Me and him are gonna go on the special, just the 2 of us. We're gonna go do our thing. And so but we have this little husky dog puppy, and so we knew that like we couldn't go do anything unless we like ran him out of energy. So we synchronized our phones. Him and his brother were going to go to the park right up the street, and I was going to take Luca to the dog park. And I was there for about 10 minutes. We were just going to do a half hour, and he called me and said that I have to come grab him, and he thinks he broke his clavicle or he thinks he broke his shoulder. So I go zooming up there, and he's white as a ghost. He's got his little brother, and I mean, just going into shock. He was skateboarding down like a trail at the park up here in Bountiful, and just got wobbly and hit something. And I mean, so we just rushed him to the ER, and it straight broke, just completely broke. So it's thrown our plans off for the summer, you know, like driver's ed. He can't even type. He can't. So he's a little bit bummed out about stuff right now, but he's really looking forward to summer school. And, you know, but yeah, right at the end of I was gonna send an email about driver's ed, because I know that was something that we could sign him up for. So, but yeah, no, nothing for 6 weeks. So yeah, but.
Will you have him talk to Anama? I know that this summer, I think that he's going to do a whole lot of PE, which I'm guessing is out of the question now.
Yeah, he's been like working out so hard too. He's getting this little 6-pack going. And so it totally bummed him out, because he's like so proud of himself right now. But yeah, I'll have him. I think he talked to Anama today, but I'll follow up there, because it's like, we got to figure out some kind of like, he's left-handed, so it's his left hand. And he is just, he can't do anything. So we got to figure out what, you know, what we can do to get his work done, some kind of program, or I'll type for him. I don't know what we're going to do, but yeah.
See how he feels, because we may be able to pair him up with someone that can help.
Yeah.
He could talk through something, and because we have that as an accommodation for students anyway, they can talk through an assignment and get credit for it. So that's an option. Tell him to not give up.
Okay. Yeah. He's persistent. He'll be good.
Okay, Sarens, now you're both on the screen. Who wants to talk?
I can just say I've broken my collarbone when I was 15, so, and survived the tail. It's a pain, but yeah. So I'm sorry to hear about your son.
Yeah.
It's a bummer.
Wow.
Yeah, there's no cast or anything. You just have to wear the lovely brace. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ouch.
So yeah, no fun. So we are fairly new. Our son is new to the school. And I think he really has the self-paced learning, I think, is working really well for him. And I think he's trying to make friends. It's just, you know, it's hard at a new school. So
yeah, and he's signed up for the summer school, so hopefully he'll be able to make connections there. We're just encouraging him that Wednesday's not a day to be off, but actually a day to catch up on assignments. We haven't quite convinced him of that yet. Working on it.
Thank you for trying. That's the important thing.
So we're excited. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It's
Thank
a
you.
good tradition for him.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Good. Thanks, you guys. That makes me feel really good to hear from you guys as parents, and to hear your perceptions and what your kids go home and say and what you see. So thank you. Go ahead, Joey.
I don't think Jillian got a chance. Am I wrong?
Yeah, but she has a work emergency on the phone, and
Okay.
she is
All
gonna
right.
be
Okay, gotcha. I just wanted to make sure everyone got a shot.
okay. Yeah, so I'll need to maybe take a few notes. So that's good. All right. Well, I feel good about going on now to a PowerPoint. And the reason that this is really important is because I am trying to talk about the different ways, the different kinds of funding we have, and the different kinds of goals we set. And this is a word heavy PowerPoint, but it's not really long. So don't give up. You got to stay with me, okay? So I'm going to share my screen and go through a few things with you guys. And I'm really excited actually to share this with you. Okay. You're seeing the agenda, huh? That's not what I wanted to do. Okay, hold on. Hold on, let's try that again. Huh?
We saw the PowerPoint.
You did? Oh, okay. Well, here it is again.
Yep, you're good.
yeah.
Okay. So, and I like this very stark black and white. I like this setup. So anyway, what we're going to talk about is our goals, our school goals for next year. And keep in mind that some of these goals and some of the funding that we'll talk about, you have the kind of the bottom line opinion on what we do. Okay, so that's why we need to do this, and it's important. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is land trust. And this is the one that parents have a lot to say about. And so that's why I put it first. And it is, does anyone know, do a thumbs up if you know what land trust even means in Utah? Does anyone know that? Okay, we got a thumbs up from the Sarens. Good job. Anyone else? I got some screens off. Cindy says, yep, she knows. Selena says yes. Okay. So what we've got with land trust is there's land held in the state for the use of schools. And they rent the land out and they do stuff with it. And then all the money that comes from it, they split up with the schools depending on the size of the school. So like a big school like Bountiful High is probably going to get 4 times as much as Innovations, but it's still enough that we feel like we can do a lot with it. The goal we've had for the past couple of years in land trust focuses on math. And Bonnie talked about that a little bit at the beginning, about the rate that we're hoping students will finish math on time and not get behind. And of course, some students get ahead. That's great too. But the goal in land trust is that it was up to 70% for freshmen and sophomore students, that they would increase their math class credit completion to 70%. And the department keeps really good records on this. Every time a student finishes a term, they mark it and they are constantly looking at it to see how things are going, which is helpful. By the end of 3rd term, these were our numbers right here. Oops, sorry about that. 68% of freshman students as of the end of 3rd term were done, but only 40% of sophomores were complete. True, it's the end of 3rd term, so it's not the end of the year, and those numbers will change. But because we wanted to kind of see where we were, I had the math department get those numbers for me. Any questions on that slide? So this has kind of been our goal, and it's going to continue to be our goal, maybe with a little tweaking. The way the land trust funds are used to help us with this goal is that we have a 3rd math teacher, and land trust helps to support that 3rd math teacher. All the other academic areas only have 2 teachers. Math has 3. So part of that money, most of that money goes to support part of that math teacher. We also have supplies that will be purchased to support math and STEM and science activities. And that's most of it. So it's not that much money, but it's a little. And we also have in the past said that we're going to pay for tutors with land trust money, but we do have other ways that we pay for tutors. And so my idea is to take tutors out for this next year and focus on the math teacher. And we'll focus on tutors in another grant in another way. So that is land trust. And that really is the thing parents get to say, yep, I agree, or nope, let's work on it. But our data since I've been here is we have focused on math for a long time, and we're continuing to grow and learn about how students best learn math at Innovations. Right, Joey? Yeah, he knows.
Yes, there are lots of big changes. So this is my 7th year Innovations, and we have started really making some big changes to the way that we teach math because of the formatting of our schools. So I think we're starting to get it more dialed in each year.
We really are. So I want just the word for parents is, I think we're doing math. We're growing in math the way that we should and the way we can. So I'm really happy to share that with you. Okay. Questions on that part? Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about is the student success plan. And instead of this coming from the state, this is really a local initiative that all of our schools, like however many, 36 schools, all in the district have to do. And there are certain things the district says, we think this is important as a district, and there's other things we do on our own. So you're going to hear about the SSP. That's what we call this, just to confuse everybody. The SSP is in a draft form for next year. But again, there's a lot of what we did last year with COVID and everything else. We've made a little progress, but we're continuing with the same things. Instead of focusing on math, this one really focuses more on science. And it's always nice when Chris Walter's here because he can help if there's any questions about this. The state has new standards called SEED standards that all of the science curriculum has to be updated to include and to align with. Last year, we were going to try to have a lot of that work done. We got about done with physics. So out of the 4 main science classes, physics has a lot of its curriculum aligned with those new standards. And chemistry actually has quite a bit done as well. But earth science and biology, we had to leave alone. We had some changes in instructors and in teachers. And so next year, coming up, school year, always know I'm talking school year. Next school year, we're going to try to finish the chemistry and physics work that is mostly done. And with a department that is going to have a new, very strong teacher, we're going to try to get the earth science and biology updated with those seed standards. They are very powerful. They're about students figuring out things on their own, thinking, doing, not being handed a list of vocabulary words and say there's a test on Friday. So it's nice. So the new teacher is really going to help with this. And we do have a lot of, there's like 3 goals in this, but the main important one is this science updating. Walter, have anything to add to that, or did I do okay?
I had to step away for a minute, so I don't know what all you said. I
Okay,
apologize.
say I did great. Just say you're
You
great.
did awesome.
Okay, yes, thank you. Okay, the new teacher is the best part of that one. There is some math also listed in this plan. And my thoughts today as I was finishing this up is that we should align the language and the goal. Because in land trust, we had it up at 70%. And in this one, it was 65%. And we also focused on more classes with this plan. And I think focusing on freshmen and sophomores, secondary math 1, secondary math 2 is smarter for us. When kids are going to get behind in math, they do it in secondary math 1 or 2. Joey says 2. So to focus on freshmen and sophomores in those 2 classes, my proposal, and for the whole staff, I'll tell them as well, is that we can to focus on those 2 classes and to have a 65% finishing exactly on time as the goal, so that they'll be aligned. And again, the math department is keeping really close tabs on that. And our secondary math 1 teacher especially, who's the one that's partially supported by Land Trust, is pretty intensely fabulous about getting kids done. He knocked, even with everyone home last year, you guys, he knocked that out of the park. He was like 10% higher. And that was amazing.
Yeah, if you have a 9th grade student and they get behind, you will get a phone call from Mr. Alley Tech.
Yeah,
that's
at
just how it works.
So it's cool. So anyway, that's that's the achievement gap goal in the SSP. There's not necessarily funds that come with the SSP, but we do have some extra funding from the state. And this is new in the last couple of years. I think it's important to understand. There's Land Trust, and then there's another funding source called TSSA funds, and it's about the same amount of money. So it's double what we used to have. And we can link that to some of these things we're doing with these other goals. These funds, the SSP or the TSSA funds, support for next year are going to support full-time tutors. We have some fabulous tutors. We're hiring a couple of more, I think, really good people. And the goal with those tutors is to spend more time with students who really need it, like identify groups of students that are like, oh, no, I'm fine. I don't even need a tutor. You're like, yes, you do, because you're taking a reading class, and that means you need some extra support in reading, and you need extra support in all of these subjects. So we spend time targeting students who are showing us they need extra help, and some of those full-time tutors are being targeted to those students. So they don't have a choice to say no. They have to say yes. It's hard to explain, but it's really a powerful thing we've done in the last year or so. Any questions on these goals so far? Do you think putting them kind of aligning, do you see why that might be easier for us to align those goals and the language and yeah? Okay. Okay, we're doing good here. That's 2 out of the 3, you guys, so stay with me. last thing is our Gear Up program, which is housed at Utah State University. It is a federal grant that lots of school districts in the whole nation use, but every grant is kind of different and fits to their schools, and the goals are different. Our Gear Up grants are 100% about being ready for college and going to college. That's it. That everything with Gear Up, that's what we do. And we've partnered with them for a long time, and they do a great job, and they help support us in a lot of ways. The kinds of things that they do are supporting rigorous curriculum, supporting mentoring in our mentor program, academic counseling, college visits and advising, and to have events for families and students to encourage high levels of performance in high school and to go on to college. The funding for these, we have 2 grants with them, and they support a grade level. So it's kind of interesting. It changes every year, but it supports part of a math teacher, tutors, activities and field trips for students. And there's a local manager here in the school that helps with the grant. It helps to pay for that person too. And this is a dollar for dollar match that we provide. So we actually give a lot of our school funds to match these grants because we feel like what they do is important. So the part that's important to keep in mind now are these family events and activities. So that's what we're going to come to in a minute. Do you have any questions about Gear Up? Any thoughts? When you come and register, you do a parent survey and a student survey. The student obviously does the student survey. But every year there's like surveys at the beginning of the year. And like for seniors right now, we're having them do an exit survey about the kinds of things and activities that we've done for them for 4 years through Gear Up. It's really, really important that they do those things and that you guys do them at the beginning of the year. They're really important for us having continued funding. And then you get a whole lot back. That's the thing. Okay. Okay, there's one more thing on these. Any thoughts or any ideas about how we're kind of doing funding and the kind of goals we have set right now? And then I promise I'll do one more thing and I'll turn this off. You're good? Okay. You may have heard, so this is the last thing. You may have heard that our school day is going to be very different next year. The school board's been studying for about 20 years the research about students in high school needing more sleep and having different rhythms for their awake and sleep times, and that having high school kids start at 7 or 7:30 in the morning is close to torture. 20 years. We were like, yeah, we know. But it wasn't until COVID, when everything really kind of blew up, that people started to realize, including district leadership, that we can make changes like this. It works. We can make it work. So what we've got, next year, we will start school at 8:45, a whole hour later than this year. And for every year that I've ever been alive, it's been earlier, but now, so 8:45, the end of the school day is 3:15. Elementary schools are moving to an earlier time, because little kids are up at like 6 a.m. They're running around, they're excited. Yes, we know that. There will be no late start days next year. That's a big change. And there will be very few like half days or modified days. Okay. And then we're gonna do a lot to make those days work for everyone. But 8:45 to 3:15, you need to put it in your phone or write it on the fridge, because it is a really big change. Got something, Joey? You lit up. You lit up there. Any thoughts on that? Have you heard this before? Did you guys know? I wish there were more parents here, honestly, because this is a big deal.
Yes, I had heard about it.
Okay, good. One out of a few. That's good. Okay, so that is the last slide on this. Except I think I did oh no, I thought I had discussion and question. Okay, and then I'm going to take this off as soon as you read this. So parents and families are key to us. They are key, and they're key to Gear Up, because what we're going to talk about last is Europe requires us to do family activities that can involve everyone in that college readiness. I think this year we're going to do some STEM activities. So think about that. And the land trust goals that we set need to be approved by the SCC, this body. And a lot of you weren't around at the very beginning of the year. I have a list of people who said, yep, put me on, I'm going to be the signer. I don't know if all those people are still coming, but I got to check. But keep in mind, I may call you guys and say, hey, you were here, you heard about the goals. Are you okay? And I'll put you on as signers. And it's like an electronic signature thing that you get from the state. And you say, yep, I was in the meeting. We've been talking about this. Great. And that's all you have to do. It's easy. So if you guys would consider being those people on that document, maybe put your email in the chat so I'll have you guys all in one place if you want to. And then if I need you, I'll reach out and let you know. Okay. And then I'm going to turn that off now. Oh, so good to see you guys back here. And Joey will keep those emails for me because he's really good at saving chats and I am not. Okay, so parent activities. Has anyone, okay, this is a thumbs up, thumbs down thing. Has anyone been in an elementary school where okay, good, Selena, thank you. You're probably on there then. I see you. Have you ever been with an elementary school where they do math nights, science nights, reading nights? Anyone? No. Okay. Well, my idea for us is not to do an elementary level thing, but to have a time when families can all come and do physics experiments, or can do math stuff, or can even do reading together. And not just sitting in a room and hearing a guest speaker, because guest speakers are not usually that welcome and they're usually boring and they're just not that exciting. If we find a good guest speaker, I'll let you know. But otherwise, I think for everyone to come and do activities together would be more something that maybe people would want to come to. Think so? Not sitting on a chair, not hearing a guest speaker. Like Walter, here's one example. Walter has all these big bricks in his room, and he sets up ramps where cars go down and smash into things. It's like velocity, it's like safety, it's like there's like 10 different physics topics that you can explore by smashing cars into the wall. Who wouldn't want to do that? Yeah, do you think that's okay? Everyone's laughing at me. We also have some really fabulous math lessons and problem solving things, and you can use your phone and you can do like quizzes on your phone, and everyone has to answer on their own phone and what's the right answer and why and how do we think about math. It is fun.
We can do some STEM stuff too, Pam.
We can also use our great big room downstairs in the atrium, and we can build straw towers and have contests. We've been doing this with students. It is awesome. There's all kinds of STEM stuff involved with building a tower or making those strengths using straws to see how heavy something can be held on straws. So you're doing design work, your family is working together. Anyway, that is my idea for family activities this year. Probably no guest speakers. Would you come? Cindy's got me a thumbs up. I got a thumbs up. Yes. I'm going to tell Amanda. So I was like, Amanda, she's like, why can't we do Pinewood Derby cars? I'm like, that would be awesome. Like maybe you take, and Walter is smiling, like maybe families take home the blank Pinewood Derby cars, one activity, and work on them and plan, and then they bring them back and we have contests. Yep. Okay, Walter, put that down. I'm getting some happy faces and thumbs up. You too. So anyway, we believe that stuff like that will help families spend time together and will help everyone learn some of the stuff that your kids need to learn right now to take to college with them. And working in a group is one of the main things for any job or any college class right now. They don't let you do a whole lot on your own. You're doing everything in a group, so it's good to practice. Okay, that's what I got. That's it. Any thoughts, any questions, comments?
Have you guys ever done like an international night, like with international food from everyone? I'm just throwing that out as an idea.
You know, I'm not sure that we have, and who knows when we'll be able to do food ever again. We're gonna be really glad if we can hand out cookies with like plastic gloves on, you know? But
We
thank
did
you,
have
that's a good idea.
We did have like an international like student event where we had, wasn't for families necessarily, but for students. So it'd be cool to open it up potentially to the families.
Our Japanese club has done some similar things in the past too, but obviously not this year.
Yeah, no making sushi right now. It's not gonna happen. Okay, well, yep, I told Amanda that I would bring this up and put it on the agenda because I really felt like we would get some good ideas. So I appreciate that. Yeah, and the straw, how tall of a straw thing did we get, Joey? You remember?
I believe the record in the time limit was 184 centimeters. We did have some students that maybe went a little bit over the time limit and got 194. So it depends on, we had a little debate about this.
That's fun. Yeah, and talk about involved kids. It was really good. Well, you guys, thanks for however many meetings you've been at this year. Thank you so much for helping us through this COVID year and being our community council and being a voice of reason when sometimes I'm like losing my mind and you guys go, oh no, it's okay. So thank you for that. I really appreciate all of you. And I expect all of you to be on the council next year. And we have had some bigger meetings, but not this year with COVID has been really hard. But so anyway, that's all I got, you guys. Does anyone want to adjourn? Do you guys want to stay and talk? If you want, I will.